Okay. Hi guys. All right, we are going to talk about oils for sleep. And I thought I'm going to give you tons of information, and I don't expect you to memorize it all or even write it down, but it's really just to give you a broad range of options so you can kind of take a little bit and nosh on it. And if you want more information afterwards, just let me know. But it's really to give you a super thorough background on oils for sleep. Okay. Hold on, let me just fix this. Okay. So first and foremost, I just want to do like a quick overview of the 3 ways to use oils and what they are. And then we'll get into a little bit about the oils for sleep. So of course, there are 3 ways to use oils, and oils are aromatic compounds extracted from plants. Okay. So they come from the leaves, the roots, the flowers, from all over. Generally, the oils for sleep are the same for stress management, and those are the soothing and grounding oils. And so generally they fall into 3 categories. They are the floral oils, the root oils, and then the sort of woodsy, earthy oils. And sometimes there's also resins in there, so I kind of throw those into the wood oils as well. You can use them 3 ways, most oils, that is topically on your skin, aromatically with your diffuser, which you can't see mine, that's over to the side, and then also internally for some of the oils. Some of the oils we'll talk about today are not internal oils, and some are. So it really depends on the oil itself. With the doTERRA oils, just as an aside, you always know on this topic if it's an internal oil because it has this little like white box on it. So you'll see here it's got this like white box and it'll say essential oil supplement. So on the bottle it says supplement. If it doesn't say supplement, then you can't take it internally. And an example of that a lot of us know really well is Balance. So Balance has no box and it says essential oil blend. So that tells you that it's not for internal use, okay? Okay, so using oils for sleep, I think generally most people diffuse them or put them on topically or use them in their bath before bed, or they use them on their sheets or in, bed spray or something. And when you're picking oils for sleep, you generally want to look for ones that fall into the category of middle or base notes. So in the perfume industry, and sort of old school aromatherapy, all the oils are assigned a note. And I actually really like these because I feel like they're very, they correlate very well with the use of the oils. So top notes are things like citruses and mints, things that evaporate super fast. And if you think about it, you wouldn't want those for bedtime anyway, because you don't want something you put in your diffuser that stops working 2 seconds later. But they're also very energizing and uplifting. So top notes are ones, for the most part, you want to avoid for sleep. So what that means is if you're making a diffuser blend and that diffuser blend is lemon and peppermint, the likelihood that it's going to soothe you to sleep is not high. Granted, there are exceptions to every rule. So there will be people who find a certain aroma emotionally soothing, and that could be peppermint. I know one person in particular who uses peppermint for bed, which makes me astonished because it's so alerting to me, but it works for her. So, caveats aside. The middle notes are generally the ones that linger a little bit longer but aren't super heavy. So things that fall into this category are florals and resins. And what I mean by resins are things like frankincense and myrrh, and even copaiba, which is more of like a syrup. And then the bottom notes are the heavy, woody, thick, hard to get out of the bottle grounding oils. Things like vetiver and patchouli and sandalwood, cedarwood, things like that. So those are the ranges of oils that you have. You have the top notes, which are sort of like, if you didn't get a good night of sleep, they help you stay awake. And then the middle note and the base note, which are better ones for sleep support. Everyone has different reactions to sleep. And I will say that it's a super complex topic because, well, for one, there are different reasons why we wake up. So if you're over 50 and you have hormonal things going on, it's not uncommon to wake up in the 2 to 3 range. Okay, that's like a pretty standard. If I teach one of my yoga classes and the majority of my students are in the 50 and above, and I say, how many of you were awake between 2 and 4 a.m., over half of the people would raise their hands. So that's pretty common. And so the hormonal sleep difficulties are one category. But most of the time, sleep disruption comes from stress, overactive brain, things like that. So the ones I'm going to talk about today are more for that category, but there's lots of other options. The other thing is, if you have sleep struggles, one of the things that is very true is that something that works for, say, a month can stop working and you have to change it up. So one of the reasons I'm going to go through a lot of oils is so that you know that there's lots of options, okay? The last thing is, one of the most common oils, like if someone came to me, a random person off the street came to me and said, I want to learn about oils for sleep, the first oil I normally recommend is lavender. But lavender is one of the oils that is, for some people, super stimulating. So a very good friend of mine cannot have lavender in anything at sleep time because it will keep her awake. So there's a small population that finds certain oils stimulating, whereas other people find them calming. The other thing is, if you don't like a particular scent, it's not going to be necessarily a good choice for sleep. So, you know, caveats aside, there's lots of options, and you can start with one if it doesn't work and sort of change it up. So what I thought I would do was go through the categories of oils that are good for sleep and talk about some specifics. Generally, the way that I recommend people start with oils for sleep are using them in a diffuser. How much you use in a diffuser and how you make your blend is really individual. If you want it to be super strong, you add more. If you want it to be less strong, you add less. If the group of people that you're trying to get to sleep are children, use less always, and less complex. So for adults, you might mix blends. You might have like 4 or 5 oils in a diffuser blend. For children, I would stick with 1 to 2. The same thing is true. I know a couple of you here are my rescue dog people. I would stick with fewer oils with pets as well. So if you have pets that are having trouble with sleep and stress and anxiousness, it's the same thing. Simple, less is more, fewer oils, more dilute, and so on. So let's talk first about aromatic use of oils for sleep. And this is diffusers. You can make bed sprays and so on, put them on your hands. For making sprays for beds, so over Christmas, doTERRA had a Serenity sleep spray. This is actually empty. Oh, hold on, there's one more person coming in. Over Christmas, this was a sleep spray they had, and oops, hold on one second. Mute. Okay, hi Donna. I'm recording, so I unmuted everyone. But this is empty, and it was Serenity. And what I do with the sprays, so this one's empty. I just remade it for my daughter. I added about maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon of witch hazel, and then I filled up the rest with water and added I think about somewhere like 10 to 20 drops of Serenity. So these little sprays you can get online. They're about 3 ounces. You can add whatever oils you want to them in whatever combination. I like to have a little bit of witch hazel, and if you don't have witch hazel, you can add rubbing alcohol or some clear alcohol like vodka or gin. And what that does is it stabilizes the oils in the water, and it also adds a little bit of antimicrobial properties, okay? The witch hazel does the same. It stabilizes the oils. So remember, oils are hydrophobic, water is hydrophilic. They don't meet. Think oil and vinegar, same. And so the witch hazel and the alcohol kind of helps them stay together happy. Also, if you look at this, I can't see through it. And when you buy them, a lot of times they're stainless and you can't actually see what the liquid inside is like. So you can't tell if it's gotten like funky or gunky. So I always add that in there just for protection. The other thing you can do in terms of making a spray is you can buy, these are little misting tops. See if I can get one out here for you. These are from a brand called Share Oils, but you can find them all over. They're little tops like this. And you can take, say for example, I have this bottle of vetiver and it's almost empty. So I could take a very almost empty bottle of one of the oils, fill it up with water or a little bit of witch hazel, and then swap out the little thing on top, that little orifice reducer there, put one of these on and make a little bed spray from an older bottle. So you know how you get to the bottom of the bottle and it can be hard to get the oils out. So when you get to that point and you're like, wait, I see there's still some in there, but I can't get the drops out. Pop that little white thing off, this little thing, and put one of these spray tops on. Fill it up with water, and then you've got like a little bed spray, and you can mist your pillows or, you know, anything around your bed. You can do it for dog beds and so on. You want to add the witch hazel or the some kind of alcohol in there to stabilize the oils, okay? So you can use diffusers. People ask me this all the time, do I sleep with my diffuser on? And I do. It's because I have a diffuser that turns off when it runs out of water or it runs out of a certain amount of time. So I set it for say 5 hours and it goes for 5 hours and then it turns off. I recommend if you're using a diffuser for sleep that you turn the light off. So that, you know, there's like the circadian rhythm thing, and a lot of people keep the light on, to make sure you turn the light off if it has the option to turn the light off. And if you don't have a diffuser with that option, choose a different one for bed. Okay, so that is like the aromatic use. Spray your bed, spray your room, use your diffuser. Topically, you can put the oils on the bottoms of your feet. You can put them on your hands. You can put them on your shoulders. You can put them in your hair. Just make sure it's not ones that'll irritate your skin. You could do a bath beforehand where you use Epsom salts and add a couple of drops of oil, anything like that. The key is to have a routine. So I have a routine that I do before bed every single night. And it may be that you have to try several different things, but if you find something that works, stick with it and keep it up. So when I get in bed every night, I make my diffuser blend that is balance and serenity. I put balance on the bottoms of my feet. And because we're in this like crazy time right now, I'm also putting On Guard and oregano on my feet every night. I do that every night. If I travel, they come with me. I bring a diffuser. I do it every night. So I get into the habit of doing it. And one of the things about oils is that they are more effective if you're using them in a consistent way. So it's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of like running. If you run and you run 2 miles one day and then you don't run for 3 days, it's harder to run 2 miles 4 days later, right? But if you're consistently running 2 miles, then pretty soon you get to the point where you can run 3 and you can run 4. Your body builds up resistance and awareness and comfort with that. And the same thing is true with oils. The more consistent you are in using them, the better they work. And that is really, really true for sleep, okay? Okay, so let's talk about the different categories of oils that are really good for sleep. I want to start first with the floral oils because those are the ones that generally people think of for sleep. And I didn't bring them all over here with me, but I'll just talk about a couple of them. First, of course, is our friend Lavender. Lavender is super soothing. I know that we've talked about this before, the idea that floral oils, if you think about the quality, the energetic quality they have, think about a rose petal and what it feels like if you touch or any flower petal on your cheek. It's very soft, it's very soothing, it's very gentle. Those are the energetic qualities of the floral oils. So they're soothing, calming, you know, sort of like hold you in a hammock, gentle stuff. And lavender is, of course, for sleep, the queen of that. But not everyone loves lavender. And so there's lots of other options. You can try if floral oils are your jam. Some other options are ylang ylang, and of course, Roman chamomile, which is one of the best oils for sleep. So if you think about like chamomile tea, It is also an essential oil supplement, so you can make a little tea with it before bed. So good for stress and anxiousness, so good for sleep. So if your sleep difficulties are coming from stress and anxiousness, this would be one I would highly recommend trying, okay? Another floral oil that I didn't bring over here, but I forgot, is the one that my husband uses, which is called Spikenard. And Spikenard is it's an oil from Nepal, and it's kind of a funky, earthy smelling oil. And it is if nothing else works for sleep, this is the one to try. And what he does is he puts it on his feet, on the bottoms of his feet every night before he goes to bed and sleeps through the night. So Spikenard is sort of like your sleep balm. If nothing else is working, you can try it. It is a really unusual smelling oil. I'll put it that way. When I first started smelling it, smelled kind of like feet. I mean, really. Now it smells like patchouli to me. So there's something about my husband's body chemistry and Spikenard that makes it smell like patchouli, like exactly. So it's a very earthy oil that probably falls a little bit more into the patchouli earthy category, but it's one to kind of keep in the back of your mind. If nothing else works, it's a good one to try. You can diffuse it, but using it topically is really on the bottoms of your feet. Why are we putting things on topically on the bottoms of our feet? There's a multitude of reasons, but for sleep, two things. One, it is the toughest skin. You have the biggest pores, and it's a way for it to get into your whole body and affect you without being right up by your face. The second thing is the bottoms of your feet are sort of like where you ground and connect. And a lot of times when we can't sleep, we're like up in our head, and we want the focus to be like plugged in and grounded. So adding oils to your feet just sort of emphasizes that grounding feeling. Okay. Lavender, of course, bath, bed, spray. There is, you guys do know about Serenity, and I will come back to Serenity, but I just want to mention that there's a whole Serenity line that has the Serenity oil, and then it has the Serenity soft gels. And I bring them up now because the Serenity blend you cannot take internally. You can't, because it has woods, which we'll get to. But the Serenity soft gels you can. And these are little individual soft gels that have lavender and other herbal, the only oil in it is lavender. And they have herbal herbs that are good for sleep. Things like lemon balm, which is Melissa, passion flower, and L-theanine. So you can take one or two of these before bed. They're not habit forming. They just help you sleep. And you can actually, if you are somewhere traveling, say, and you want to have lavender with you, but you don't want to carry your lavender and you want some, you can pop these and put them in your bath. So they're a good one, or rub on your feet at night. So these are really helpful. A lot of people find them to be like the thing that helps them sleep. But if you're someone who's stimulated by lavender, they would not be a good choice. Okay. So lavender you can take internally. You could make your own soft gels with lavender, but these have extra zhuzh in them in terms of herbal stuff. So floral, soothing, calming, soft, and so on. The next category are woods and resins. So let's talk about resins first. In the resins, remember, these are thick, slow, almost sometimes crystallized oils that come from inside the tree. Anything that has a like thick, solid, stable type of quality is really soothing for sleep. And the three that fall into that category of resins are frankincense, myrrh, and copaiba. So frankincense and myrrh you can use topically, you can put in the diffuser. Both of them actually you can use internally as well. I wanted to focus more on copaiba. So copaiba, you'll see I have a little dropper top on mine because I put this under my tongue twice in the morning and twice at night. And I use it for sort of soothing anxiousness. the way this oil works is it works on a pathway in the body called the endocannabinoid system. And the endocannabinoid system is, it's part of your rest and digest, part of your nervous system. So if you have, like, say you're online and you're reading the news and it's super, it's making you feel triggered and nervous and scared, that is fight or flight. And what copaiba does, or copaiba, is it brings you to the other end of the spectrum, which is rest and digest. So our primal animal body that wants to run away from something fearful and, you know, scary and dangerous, the opposite end of that is when we come back and we go to rest and digest. So copaiba says, don't be, you know, fight or flight, go to rest and digest. And it sort of triggers that reaction. And for me, it makes me feel really calm and less reactive, less edgy. It just sort of smooths the edges. So it's a great one for sleep. And Julie was saying that this is an oil that she uses with her dog who had separation anxiety because she had a rescue dog. So same kind of thing. So it can help with anxiousness and stress. So it's really supportive for that. You can also get this in a soft gel. So I put it under my tongue, but it tastes a little bit like pine pitch. And so not everyone loves that. And so Donna says she uses it every night before bed, and I do as well. So that's one of my times. I do it first thing in the morning, and then I do it right before I go to bed. It's part of my nighttime routine as I go put my 2 drops under my tongue. And it's really a game changer. And when it first came out as an oil that was available from doTERRA, so many people bought it and used it internally that within about 6 months, they released it as a soft gel. So the soft gel, the only difference between the two is that it's already made up for you and you swallow it. Your body has to break it down and then it gets spread throughout your body. When you put it under your tongue, it gets it gets systemically throughout your body. It's the fastest way for that to happen, but it tastes like pine pitch. So you have to sort of get over the hump of it tasting, you know, some people don't like the taste. So you would choose the soft gel if you don't like the taste. And there are many people who take 1 copaiba and 1 serenity soft gel every night. So you can kind of mix them up and play with it. Or if the serenity doesn't work, you can try the copaiba. Frankincense, also very soothing. Myrrh, very soothing. You can use them in blends. So you like the resiny, syrupy oils are really good for that as well. Okay. And then of course we get to the more woodsy, earthy oils. These are generally thick. They're hard to get out of the bottle. If you were going to make a diffuser blend with, say, let's just say orange, you could use 3 drops of orange to 1 drop of them. They're very, very hard to get out. I have vetiver, which I have a dropper top for, because if you try to get vetiver out of the bottle, it's impossible. And maybe you can even see it's like syrup. So it's not like a drip. It's like very thick. Vetiver is probably the single best oil for anxiousness. If you're feeling, if you have a really, really chatty mind, it will help calm that and quiet it. And it's often in sleep blends. So if you do like a Pinterest search or something, you'll find vetiver in a lot of the sleep blends because it is so, slows everything down. So if you think, I don't know if you can tell, like it's really, really thick. It's almost like syrup. And that's kind of energetically what it brings in is that slowing down, which is exactly what you want at night. Some other oils that are similar to that are sandalwood, Hawaiian sandalwood, and those are two different oils. Sandalwood is like the traditional Indian smelling sandalwood. Hawaiian sandalwood is from Hawaii, and it smells a little bit like coconut and sandalwood, almost like Palo Santo. So two different kinds of sandalwood. And then another one, cedarwood would be something like a less expensive. Sandalwood and Hawaiian sandalwood tend to be kind of expensive in terms of woods. Cedarwood is another option for that. And I really like patchouli, which is also really, really thick. A little goes a long way, but super grounding, like one of the most grounding oils ever. And if patchouli is one a lot of people have very strong feelings about. pro and con. And if you have strong feelings about it, then this is one to try putting on the bottoms of your feet. It's away from your nose. It helps you feel grounded, but you don't have to smell it, right? Patchouli, very good for sleep, very good for grounding, calming, anxiousness. Again, same, over and over and over again, same qualities. And balance is one of the best ones for sleep. So if you want that like woodsy grounding quality with a little bit of resin, because it has frankincense, you get the woods, you get the resins, and you can combine it with something kind of florally. So a really nice blend would be balance and lavender, or balance and Roman chamomile, or what I use is balance and serenity. And what I love about serenity is it has all of the sleep oils, everyone almost. So it has in it lavender, ylang ylang, it has cedarwood, it has Roman chamomile, it has vetiver, it has, what else? Hawaiian sandalwood. So it has florals, it has resins, it has frankincense, it has roots. It's got everything. And if it's too sweet because of the vanilla, then just add balance or cedarwood, or a little bit of some wood that will cut through that. And that's what I do. So I do balance and serenity because serenity is a little bit sweet for me. Because serenity has wood in it, cedarwood in particular, Hawaiian sandalwood, it is a not internal oil. So even though the supplements say serenity, it's not the serenity oil, okay? Hawaiian sandalwood, cedarwood, a lot of the woods are not internal oils. And again, you know that when you're looking at your bottle because it does not have that white box, okay? Okay. Lastly, so we've got our florals, right? Roman chamomile, lavender, ylang ylang. We've got our resins. Slow things down, syrupy, frankincense, myrrh, copaiba. We have our woods, sandalwood, balance, like patchouli, which isn't a wood, but feels like a wood, cedarwood, very heavy, very earthy, like almost smell like dirt, like grounding. And then we have some sort of outliers that a lot of people really like. So I just want to kind of close with those. First is adaptive. Adaptive is another one of those blends that has like a little bit of everything. For me, this would not be a good choice because the prominent smell I smell is spearmint. So it has spearmint and it has wild orange. And so those are very uplifting to me, but it also has lavender and magnolia and copaiba. So a lot of people find adaptive, it's designed to be a stress management oil and a calming oil. And so if it works for you in that way, it might work for sleep. The adaptive supplement, which is totally different and has GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that just kind of like plugs you in and cools you down and calms you down, is another one a lot of people are finding a lot of success with for sleep. This is a good one if the reason you have trouble sleeping is because your mind is so incredibly chatty. So if you're one of those people who is in bed and you're like, okay, I have to do this and what if this and this will calm and focus your mind in a way that can help you get back to sleep, especially if you wake up in the middle of the night. So this is one, sometimes people take it in combination with copaiba, sometimes they take it separately, sometimes they take it with serenity. You can kind of intermix them. I would suggest starting with one, trying another one, and trying another one before you mix them, because if you have a combination and it doesn't work, you don't know if it's the combination that doesn't work or one of the supplements. If you try oils and you make a diffuser blend, let's say lavender, cedarwood, and frankincense, and you can't sleep, it's very easy to tease apart what isn't working for your sleep if you take one of those away or take another one away. So say, for example, you use those three in your diffuser and you can't sleep. And so you're like, okay, I'll just try lavender tonight. And then you sleep through the night, so you know it's not lavender. And then you try frankincense and you know that frankincense works. And then you try whatever the the third one I said, cedarwood. And cedarwood, you're awake. You'll know that cedarwood is not good for you, but the other two are. So if you're going to try something like, say, a blend, my suggestion is to always start with single oils first if you're really struggling with sleep, so that you can figure out what is the right combination for you rather than a blend. If you start with a blend, you don't know if it's because of one oil in the blend, the combination of oils in the blend, it's very hard to figure out exactly what's not working. Whereas if you're using single oils, you can take away one, add one, and so on. So if sleep is a struggle, you have to start with single oils, one oil or two oils in your diffuser, and then you can really figure it out. And I would say the same thing is true as an aside if you put on an oil topically. If you use a blend, it's very hard to figure out if you have a reaction to it or if it's not working for you, why it's not working. But if you're using single oils, you can kind of figure it out a little bit better, you know? You can think of it almost like if you have food sensitivities and you're trying to figure out, why are foods bothering me? So I'm going to get rid of gluten and dairy and eggs and peppers and I don't know, sugar, and you take away 5 things and you feel better, but you don't know why is it you feel better. Is it because of the gluten? Is it because of the sugar? Is it because you took all those things away? It's really hard to figure it out. But if you just take away one of those things at a time, you can kind of, oh, okay, so sugar, I don't feel better if I take sugar away. So it's not sugar that's the problem or whatever, you know. The same thing is true with oils. And when it comes to sleep, it can be very challenging for people sometimes to find the right combination. So start with fewer oils that are single oils in your diffuser particularly, and same thing with topically. There's just a couple others I wanted to mention as an aside, because they are ones that people sometimes like for sleep and they're a little bit unusual. So one is In Tune. I don't know if you can see that. And this is a focus blend. It is in a roller. It is not diluted. So it doesn't say touch on it. If the roller doesn't say touch, it's not diluted. So I recommend usually diluting it. This is a focus blend, and this would be a good one to say roll on the bottoms of your feet before bed if your problem is your mind is super chatty. So if you're someone who cannot go to sleep because you can't stop thinking and you need to kind of like let the dust settle, this is a good option to try. The primary smells in this are sandalwood and patchouli, so it has some of those same oils that we've been talking about, but again, it's a blend. And it's just one to think about if the chatty mind is your issue. If you can't do lavender, there's a great alternative that biochemically is very similar in terms of like sleep support and stress support, and that's petitgreen. Petitgreen is the leaf of the bitter orange plant. So some of you know of neroli, which is the flower. Petitgreen is the leaf, and it doesn't smell anything like lavender. It's very green. It's almost has like a spiciness to it like neroli does. It's really different. It's a very cool oil, but it's a good one if you don't like the florals, or if lavender is stimulating to you in a way that's not great for sleep, you can try petitgreen instead. And then one last one that a lot of people love for sleep is Breathe. So Breathe, of course, is a respiratory blend, and it has things like peppermint and eucalyptus and lemon, but combined with, say, lavender or even with serenity, it's a really, really nice sleep oil. And it would be one I would recommend if part of why you can't sleep is because, you know, you're having seasonal stuff and you're stuffy, or, you know, any of those kind of things that are keeping you awake. It's very clearing and light. So some of the oils, actually most of the sleep oils are pretty heavy. So if you're looking for something a little bit like lighter and brighter for sleep, that's a good one to try as well. So that is a huge amount of information. We've got resins, we've got woods, we've got florals. They all work for different reasons, but the end result is the same. And if you have like a specific thing that's keeping you awake, like say hormonal stuff or restless leg syndrome or things like that, just let me know and I can give you specific recommendations for those. But these are sort of general sleep things. And if one of them doesn't work, don't be frustrated and say it's not going to work. There are lots of other combinations to try, and it's important to give it some time. So give it, you know, several days, consistent use, unless you're finding that you're not sleeping, your sleep is even worse, then it's time to change it up. But remember, consistency and regular habitual patterns of use of the oils will make it better. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording now. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So stop that.